Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Scott Wedley and I'm the Director of Student Teams and Clubs here in the Faculty of Engineering at Monash University. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what those teams and clubs do, how you can get involved. So I've got a presentation. Let's jump in and learn some more about these exciting opportunities. I'd like to start by acknowledging the people of the Kulin Nations on whose land I'm gathered today. I pay my respects to their elders past and present. I'm going to start by talking a little bit about our teams and clubs in general terms and helping you understand what is the difference between a team and a club. We support a very wide variety of activities within our faculty, which takes in these teams, clubs and societies. So what is the difference between them? Well, a club or a society works to connect students with things in common or with special interests. They're open to everyone all the time, and they often run a yearly calendar membership. Our teams, on the other hand, often work towards competitions or defined missions or goals or visions. All students can apply to join these teams, whether you're an undergrad, a postgrad, or a PhD student. Entry is by application only, and it's often quite competitive, so it's good to put a good amount of effort into that application. And recruitment happens 1 to 2 times per year, with various dates depending on the team. We would recommend that students that are interested in joining our teams or clubs do follow those teams and clubs on Facebook to stay up to date with their activities and also their recruiting. I'd also like to remind everybody that all the activities that you do towards clubs and societies or these special project teams, they can count towards your CPD hours. CPD is our continuing professional development program. And that's a compulsory thing for all of our students to undertake as part of their degrees to show that they've done that professional development before they graduate. I'm going to play a short video now that gives you a quick overview of some of the activities of our student teams in particular. Let's have a look. So here is a list of our 15 clubs and societies. You can find out more about each of these clubs or societies by following the link that I've posted at the top there. Also, if you just go to Google and type in Monash student teams, it will bring up this page which has all the links on it as well. As you can see from the list here, it's quite extensive. We have things for civil engineering students, chemical students, female engineers, gay and lesbian engineers at Monash, our aerospace and mechanical students, environmental, materials, pharmaceutical, the resources engineering students, the electrical engineering students, and chemical engineers down the bottom there as well. So everybody in the faculty and all of our disciplines are covered. And there's a society or a club that you can find to kind of hang out with people who are interested or who are studying the same course that you're doing and get all the support and guidance that you need to help you through your degree and to support you to find work experience and find jobs. So please do look into those ones if we do see you at Monash University. We also have information on our teams here. So this is about half of our teams. We're close to 15 teams now as well. And in a second, I'm going to take you on a bit of a tour through these different teams and talk about their activities. But all this information you can also find up on the website. Follow the links to go to the team's social media pages and their websites to find out more information about what they do and how you can get involved. These are the other teams that we have as well. So some really exciting activities spread across all the different disciplines of engineering. There's something for everybody in there. So I'm going to take you for a bit more of a kind of guided tour now through these teams. Let's have a look at the first one, which I'd like to talk about, which is Precious Plastics Monash. So this team is part of a global initiative from around the world designed to try and reduce and end the problem of plastics pollution. They design and build and operate plastics recycling machines. So will take in plastics from the community, they'll shred them all up into small pieces, separate them into various types and colors, and then using special machines that they've designed and built, they will compress and mold and melt them to create new products. So we can see a couple of the products here that they've created, skateboard, and also this really cool electric guitar off on the right hand side. They're all made by students within engineering and also in collaboration with our art and design students from our Caulfield campus. So that's Precious Plastics Monash. Another team, our oldest and our largest team, is Monash Motorsport. They compete in a competition called Formula Student or Formula SAE, where they design, build and race small open-wheeled formula-styled cars. This is one of the cars that you can see here from 2019. They have built combustion cars, so petrol-powered cars. They build electric cars, and more recently, they've been building driverless, like fully autonomous cars. So those ones drive themselves. This is, I think that's our electric car from 2019 that you can see. It's actually in the wind tunnel where they're conducting aerodynamic testing. So they'll blow wind over the car at 100 kilometers an hour and measure all the forces through sensors in the floor. And what you can see on the right-hand side there is a rake of probes, so they can measure the flow structures in the air behind the aerodynamic elements of the car. I've got a short video that kind of explains a little bit more about what Monash Motorsport do, which I'll play now. Oops. So you can see the driverless car driving itself around the track at the end of that video. You can also see that they compete overseas. So quite often, every 2 years, they will work to go to some European competitions. Commonly, they'll race in the UK at Silverstone, in Austria at Red Bull Ring, and at Hockenheim Ring in Germany. So that's a great experience for those team members that are lucky enough to kind of participate in that, racing overseas. Our next team is Monash Forge. So Monash Forge are led out of our materials science engineering school and department, and they work on teaching students manufacturing methods like metals casting that we can see on the right hand side there, where they're pouring molten aluminium into that mold tray, and also old style forging, where they heat up steel commonly using the forges that you can see there, and then they hammer it into particular shapes and they can make all sorts of products. So this is to equip students with skills that are still very common and valued in the manufacturing industry around the world. And they also do a lot of outreach to teach these skills to other students and the general public. So it's a really fun team to get involved with if you like to get hands-on and make things using those types of methods. Another team is our high-powered Rocketry team. This team competes in a competition in Australia and also in the US, where they build rockets to go to 10,000 feet altitude and also 30,000 feet. So this is their Hyperion rocket that flew to 30,000 feet a couple of years ago up in Queensland. So that's sitting on the rail ready to launch. Shortly after this, we ran away very quickly and launched the rocket from quite a distance away. And I think the video of that might be as part of the next video that you're about to see. It's actually, the start is this rocket going up in the air, getting out of there really quickly. So I'm going to show you a video now that HPR have made.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so that's a little bit of a preview of what life is like on the HPR team, building rockets and launching them around Australia and hopefully overseas again in the near future. Our next team is Monash Human Powered. So the Monash Human Powered team design and build recumbent bicycles that are also fully faired. So they develop the fairing design in the Monash University full-scale wind tunnel to ensure that the bicycle is as low drag and as slippery as possible so that they can achieve maximum speed. They recently went 80 kilometers an hour in Australia, and they're looking to push that even higher with their V3 bike, which is nearing completion. So this is one of their old bikes down there. They actually design and race camera bikes, so you can't actually see out the front of it. It's quite amazing. You have a camera on the top that you can see in this picture in the white housing, and that projects a video feed to a screen which is inside the bicycle so that it can have lower drag. So really cool riding a bicycle at nearly 100 kilometers an hour. So that's a great team to get involved with if you're into kind of high performance human engineering. Our next team comes out of chemical engineering predominantly, and is Monash Brewlab. So Monash Brewlab are learning about and working with the local brewing industry to brew beer and kombucha and other fermented products. So they work on recipe development, then they'll brew up their various beverages, and then they'll go through sensory evaluation to try and improve them. We've also had a startup recently that's been spun out from this team called Scholars Inc. That has started their own company and are now brewing and selling beers, which is a really cool success story. You can see our small brew system over on the right hand side there. That's the Brewmaster that will brew 50 litres of beer at a time, and we have a serving fridge that you can see there that we use for events so that people from around the faculty can sample some of the test brews that the team have done. So it's a really cool team. Our next team is Monash DeepNeuron. They're one of our newest student teams, and they work on delivering AI and reinforcement learning and machine learning workshops. They also work to support our researchers and companies on AI challenges that are relevant to industry and to research. So it's a really fun group of students that get to work with some high performance computing algorithms and computing hardware. And they like to share that knowledge with the rest of the student body. This is one of the workshops that they ran a year ago, where you come in and you get to learn about all of these skills and apply them to your own work. Our next team is Monash Unmanned Aerial Systems. This team designs, builds and competes with unmanned aerial drones that are autonomous. So the aircrafts that you can see there are designed and built to fly certain missions. The mission that these aircraft were designed to undertake was to fly about 30 kilometers away to a search area, and then they were to search the ground for a bushwalker, and then they had to drop a bottle of water to that stranded bushwalker and then fly back to base and land autonomously. The landing of this aircraft was also vertical takeoff and landing, so they're actually a hybrid aircraft. It's a little bit hard to see in this picture, but it's actually a quadcopter built into this fixed wing aircraft, so it can take off and land vertically, and then it will transition to a fixed wing flight for more efficient long range flying. The second aircraft is actually used as an uplink relay, so that they can relay from the ground station all the way to the aircraft, because it goes so far away. It's actually operating over the horizon, so they need that intermediate uplinked aircraft to maintain communications over that distance. I think we've got a short video to show you about Monash UAS. that's the Monash UAS team with one of their previous competition entries. The next team I'd like to highlight is our Monash Connected Autonomous Vehicles team. So this team has 2 autonomous vehicles that they're developing. One of them you can see in the background there is a Subaru Forester that they've updated with GPS, steering, brake, accelerator, actuation, LiDARs to be able to understand and perceive its environment. And they have another vehicle as well, which is called Street Drone, which is a fully electric and autonomous ready vehicle that they're developing algorithms for. And the aim of this project, or one of their short-term goals, is to have these 2 vehicles basically meet at an intersection and negotiate kind of going through that intersection together. So that's what they're working on at the moment, Monash Connected Autonomous Vehicles. Our next team is Monash Robogals. So Robogals is another kind of nationwide and soon to be kind of global initiative that aims to help encourage women and girls to undertake STEM, and they do this through outreach to primary schools and high schools, and trying to expose students to the world of robotics and programming. And this is one of the examples here where they have a robot that they build out of Lego Mindstorm, and it drives around and detects the line here. So this is working with some local students at our schools nearby. Monash Young MedTech Innovators, or otherwise known as MIME, is another one of our very new teams. So this team works to deliver a big medical technology hackathon called MedTech, MedHack Enabled. And they also do a whole lot of other project work with our researchers and clinicians and need knowers around developing improvements to basically people's lives to help them out with some of their conditions. We've got a short video so you can understand some of the things that they work on.
Hi, I'm Emma and I'm project lead for Project Tara.
Hello, I'm Micah.
Hi, I'm Yoav.
After a lung transplant, patients must keep track of their complicated rehabilitation regime. There are a multitude of medications, appointments, and exercises to stay on top of. Many patients find the organisation of their treatment confusing and often miss appointments or take medication incorrectly. Project Tara aims to create an all-in-one mobile app that tracks patients' appointments, medications, and exercise. This app will start primarily as a tool for lung transplant recipients, but has applications in a variety of outpatient clinics, such as hand therapy, burns, and physiotherapy. At this stage, Project Tara has been wireframed and app development has started.
Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for updates about Project Tara.
So that's just one of the projects that the MIME team is currently working on. Another really new team is Monash Solar Decathlon. So this team is mainly formed of civil engineering students, but also architecture students. They compete in a US competition called Solar Decathlon that is run by the Department of Energy. And there are a number of different categories where the challenge is to design things like a school or things like a medical facility or semi-attached urban housing, and they compete against other universities to design the best net zero buildings. So buildings that use solar power and wind energy, so that they're not creating any carbon kind of footprint. So this is one of their recent designs that they entered into that competition. Monash Nova Rover, I think, is our last team that we're going to feature today. They build rovers for a Mars expedition. This is them at the recent Australian University Rover competition that was held in Adelaide, where you can see that they were the overall challenge winner. They also go off to America most years to compete at the Mars Desert Research Station, which I think is in Utah. And so they go over there and compete and have done very well, finishing top 10 in recent years. So that rover has to drive around under the control of the students and complete a variety of tasks, scientific things, and also manipulating certain things that they would expect a rover to do on the red planet. So it's been really exciting and very topical, obviously with the current NASA Mars Rover mission. Where does all this stuff happen, and how do we support all of these activities? We actually have an amazing new space for it called the Monash Makerspace Project Studios. So this is a new facility that we finished and opened in semester 1, 2021. It is home to 4 of our student teams, so Monash Motorsport, Precious Plastics, high-powered Rocketry and Unmanned Aerial Systems all reside in this space, but it's also accessible to all of our student team members. We also offer TAFE trade school training to enable our students to upskill in some of these specialized skills like lathes and mills, so that they can safely utilize all the equipment in this space. So there are a couple of photos of the more kind of specialized areas where we have welding and fabrication in the lower left, and then the machining shop on the right hand side. It's a photo of a couple of our Nova Rover students assembling looks like some of their gearboxes for their manipulator arm in the makerspace. And finally, I have a photo of a meeting that we had with our Dean Elizabeth Croft a couple of weeks ago, where we had representatives from all our student teams in to chat about student team activities, and you can see kind of the scale and the scope of this facility behind everybody there. So it's an amazing place to work on engineering projects, and yeah, fantastic resource for all of our student teams. Let's have a look at a quick video about the Makerspace. And we're so lucky that's not even the only space that our student team members have. We have another Makerspace facility that is about to open at the start of next year, so early 2022, and it's going to be called the Design and Build Studios. And this will be located in the Woodside Future Technology Building and accessible by all engineering students. There will be 4 separate studios: design, electrical, rapid prototyping, and machining. And we've got some photos of the work in progress currently. On the lower left, we've got the machining studio about to receive its machines. And on the right hand side, we have electrical studio about to receive all of its electrical equipment. We've got a few photos of some of the teaching that we're doing in the space with my class this semester. We gave them all 3D printers that they had to assemble and operate for the whole semester to be able to build their design projects. So we've got the presses, as you can see there. This is Zach putting them all together and making sure they're working. And some of our teaching staff and demonstrators, we did a project that required some textiles. So we had some overlockers, embroiderers, and cover stitch machines that we were using for that work. And we also have some new 3D scanning facilities. So we're making face masks. So we actually use the scanner to scan many of our different students' faces so that we could actually figure out the geometry and get a really good fit on the masks that we designed and produced. So that's a really quick overview of our student teams and clubs ecosystem here at the Faculty of Engineering, and some of the support spaces that we have to support and assist with all of these activities. Thanks so much for watching and listening, and we'd love to see you at Monash very soon. If you have any questions, please feel free to look me up and contact me via the details there. Thanks for your time. We'll see you soon.